Tucker, no one reached out to me and said, as a senior citizen, are you willing to take a chance on your survival in exchange for keeping the America that all America loves for your children and grandchildren? And if that's the exchange, I'm all in. And that doesn't make me noble or brave or anything like that. I just think there are lots of grandparents out there in this country, like me, I have 6 grandchildren, that what we all care about and what we love more than anything are those children. And I want to, live smart and see through this, but I don't want the whole country to be sacrificed. My heart is lifted tonight by what I heard the president say, because we can do more than, one thing at a time. We can do 2 things. So, my message is that let's get back to work. Let's get back to living. Let's be smart about it. And those of us who are 70 plus, we'll take care of ourselves, but don't sacrifice the country. Don't do that. Don't ruin this great American dream.
So you're basically saying that this disease could take your life, but that's not the scariest thing to you. There's something that would be worse than dying.
Yeah.
I love how Tucker tries to make him some martyr at the end. No, we know, Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, we know that you're not some brave soul. And he tries to make it, what about the children? No, this is about capitalism. We all know it. This is about preserving the existing structure of capitalism. And people who are forward-thinking realize nothing is going to be the same after this. All of these systems are going to have to be reevaluated because, yeah, you can work from home and all of these other things. People are figuring that out. And what's just even more infuriating about that appearance on Tucker Carlson's show last night is that this is clearly coordinated within the Republican Party, and Dan Patrick's trying to suck up to the Trump administration because this is in keeping with the messaging that they're trying to get out there, the extremely dangerous messaging. Earlier in the day, President Donald Trump and his chief economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, said that the economic cost of shutting down the country in order to stop the spread of COVID-19 may not be worth it. We can't have the cure be worse than the problem, Trump told reporters at a White House briefing late Monday. Kudlow concurred, saying in a CNBC interview, "At some point you have to ask yourself if the shutdown is doing more harm than good." Expect to be hearing that from Republicans for the foreseeable future. This is clearly a messaging tactic that has been discussed in the Trump administration in Republican circles because, of course, money, money, money. The market, oh, the grand old market. We cannot let the market down. Our portfolios are donors. This is what happens when you have a completely corrupt, swampy administration that doesn't have any people in there except just money people, moneyed interests. No activists from, I'm laughing saying it, of course there wouldn't be. No advocates for the elderly, no advocates for the sick, no healthcare advocates except if they're from the for-profit healthcare industry. So all this administration is designed to do is further the worst elements of capitalism, and that's why Trump wants everyone to go back to work, and then everyone in his cabinet will be happy. But let's take a look at some charts that should scare anyone who might be willing to entertain this message coming out of the Trump administration. So this is what happens by July 1st if we stick to social distancing. We adhere to it very strictly, work remotely, ban large gatherings, make sure the restaurants stay closed, have schools closed, etc. That's the best case scenario. So you're seeing like 25% infected in many highly populated areas. Still though, best case scenario. Now, look at it when it just says some adherence to these strict rules, just partial. This is a fairly likely scenario. The whole country, the highly populated areas there, they're just overrun with it. So this is the most likely scenario by July 1st. And then the scariest, no control measures. I mean, the entire country just completely overrun with coronavirus and so many people having died. Scientific models are showing that 2.2 million Americans could die by the end of the year from coronavirus. So Republicans like Dan Patrick, Donald Trump, and Larry Kudlow are willing to sacrifice 2.2 million Americans at the altar of capitalism because of the big line. because of the Dow line. Again, by the way, I mean, I know we're sinking into a recession that's going to affect everybody, and cut checks now. People are hurting, right? But when it comes to people's investments, only 50% of Americans have any investment in the stock market, and most of those investments are at the top, for the top 10%. I get that it affects everybody, but that's the only thing the media talks about. The Dow, the investment portfolio, stocks, blah, blah, blah. Now, regular Americans, they just can't get to work, and then their choice is get sick and go to work, or stay home and not get a check. And that's the economy that neoliberals and Republicans like Donald Trump have set up for people, and now they're saying, well, sacrifice your grandmother's life for this disgusting economy, this inhumane economy, this horrible economic system that we've set up for you. No mas. Stay in your homes, and then we can weather the storm together.